Well, welcome to Football Therapy, ladies and gentlemen. And is it the only solution to the Chelsea conundrum? Maybe. It's time I got on the blower to Todd Boehly and talked some sense into him. I think, yes, Mia. In fact, we think maybe this marriage of Graham Potter just has to end, even before the end of the season, which seems silly. I'm going to go through the situation, how I feel, what I think we should do. Talk about Julian Nagelsmann, who of course Fabrizio Romano has spoken about in his recent YouTube video. And where do we go from here, ladies and gentlemen? Anyway, I thank you for joining me. A quick reminder to do this thing. Like and subscribe! Right, Chelsea lost 2-0 to Aston Villa. If you want my post-match presser, you can watch it. My previous upload to this. Chelsea had all the ball. They had, more than double XG than Villa. They had 19 shots inside the box. They had loads of corners, and they conceded 2 silly goals. But it almost doesn't matter. I was posing the question yesterday, like, is it the coach's responsibility to make them finish better? And many people would say no, but maybe it just is. Maybe it's just an aura thing. I spoke about autonomisms. I still will never get that word right. When basically a manager takes away the responsibility of forwards in terms of creative finishing. They make it more mechanical, systemic and robotic, which often players don't like doing, but if it scores goals, then yeah. Chelsea are in the bottom half of the Premier League table. Now, I didn't have any hopes for the rest of the season, but we just looked terrible. Or at least looked terrible in the final action. And let me get this straight. I like Graham Potter. I like the fact how he's not a sensationalist. Apparently he does get angry about this behind the scenes. I like the players like him. I like how seemingly he's an appropriate candidate for a long-term project. But I needed to see development throughout the remainder of this season. Mia, can you stop playing with that bat? Okay, there's no stopping her. So the thing is, right, it cost us is it a record 25 million to sign Graham Potter and his team from Brighton. It would have cost us an amount of money to terminate Thomas Tuchel early and his team. Granted, he didn't have a long left on his contract, but he still would be expensive to terminate his contract. And should Chelsea want to hire Julian Nagelsmann, for example, an available young coach who Chelsea do appreciate, so say Fabrizio Romano, then that will be expensive too, because the way that works, there will need to be a compensation package. He's not just a free agent or something. There's he's still technically on the books or something like that. And Bayern Munich paid a lot of money to get him out of RB Leipzig, a record for a Bundesliga manager as well. So they're in a position where if they can get some, financial, compensation, then they'll go for that. So this is a hella expensive scenario. Now, though Graham Potter has signed off on many of these signings, I think Chelsea have a squad worthy of any good manager that can come in and say, yes, because we've got such a big squad, I can build a core out of ex-players, and yes, I understand how Chelsea need to sell some players, to balance the books come the summer, and yes, if you could buy me 1 or 2 on top of this massive squad of, of selection I've got, then great. It's just so deflating, bro. This is supposed to end at one point. Now look, I'm not anti-Todd Boehly, right? I still back him as the right horse to have won the race for the new Chelsea ownership. He's very public, he wants to be at the games, he wants to invest a lot of money into the squad, and of course, you know, the stadium, the women's team, the academy, they're all being restructured. He's done great things like build a recruitment tank, like think tank, which is something I've been personally calling out for ages. You know, he's doing like all the right things, I think, and he wants to win trophies, man. Do you know what I mean? And like, all good, and you know, we're doing like great new campaigns and stuff. You know, so very, very pleased with that. And I do like the change away from hiring and firing, which seemingly doesn't work anymore. The two best teams in England, or have been of late, are like legacy managers. Arteta is becoming there. I'm not going to make, or let's just reference the fact that Arteta finished 8th twice before being 5 points clear of the Premier League in April. Yes, I just said that. That is a real scenario and statistic. I think they're 5 points clear, or are they 8 points clear? Anyway, it's unsettling, and yet I thought it was absolutely ridiculous that Arsenal didn't sack Arteta so many times over. They had the Arteta out shirts being sold, and we haven't had the Potter out shirts being sold. Maybe that's more of a thing about our fan base comparatively to Arteta. I liked the idea of just sticking through it. You know, the Dortmund wins were great. You know, that Dortmund had won 10 in a row or something. We beat them. We ended it in their own backyard as well. I don't know, man. It's. I know we didn't actually. We did it in Stamford Bridge. Anyway, look, I digress. Point being, I thought it could work. The players are seemingly happy. I like the fact how he's an intelligent, you know, non-sensationalist. But ultimately, something's got to change. And this boils down to, you can't change all the players. That's one thing history has proven to us. That if there's like a bad smell going around, then you can't change all the players. You can only change the management team. And hopefully, look, cat's arse. This is the situation at Chelsea at the moment. And hopefully that would change something. Like, I don't know. I'm so conflicted. I've never been so conflicted as a Chelsea fan in my life, because this is what I've wanted for so long in terms of like the structure of the recruitment team, the long-term ideology of a coach and stuff like that. You know, Bowley's had in his American sports teams. Their coaches are there for like a decade and they win everything. But is that even happening at football? And yeah, I wanted to talk about Tuchel quickly, because I don't have a problem with Tuchel being sacked. You know, something's got to change, but I'm not one of these people that, we just should have kept Tuchel. I loved Tuchel. I loved how he spoke, but the history of Thomas Tuchel always remains the same. You know, he'll combust. He'll upset people. He will do it at Bayern. He will do it. Bayern Munich is a hugely political club. There's a reason why, you know, multiple different managers have struggled there in terms of being happy. I mean, Hansi Flick was amazing there, but he was just like, sod this. Tuchel will fall out with the Bayern Munich hierarchy and the politics of that club, and he will go. He won't be there for like a legacy, you know. That's just the way it is. And they'll probably be fine with that. He'll win the Bundesliga every time he's there. Every season he remains. And he'll have a good crack at the Champions League. And best of luck to him. But for me, moving forwards, you know, some of the stories, and the public stories, not the ones from the background that are, you know, the eye-watering Simon Jordan stories, and, you know, the CC Tuchel emails that she's threatened to leak, but he's put an injunction on her, whatever it is. Even the public stuff that The Athletic reported on about, you know, the pre-season meetings of the two groups of players, and then starting the players that, you know, that want to leave, and the players that have nailed their colours to the mast and want to play for Chelsea throws out, and all that kind of stuff, like untenable stuff. That's why I kind of latched onto Graham Potter, because I was like, well, okay, cool. He wouldn't do this stuff. Brother is intelligent, and he's a good coach. He's on the up. Brighton are in the top ruddy 4. He's turned down the Tottenham job. Lol, come to Chelsea, mate. Imagine as an Englishman winning the Premier League. And Chelsea have got the first one. I'd love that. But guys, this ain't good. And this is coming from a dude who's like, pretty, like, tapped out quite a lot in terms of this season. Look, we've got a bunch of great players, play a bit of football, let's see if we can get something cooking. Let's see if we can convince Joao to stay, get the best out of him, you know. And I was thinking, oh, you know, Havertz is looking better under Potter. He's saying positive things about him. I don't know, man. I'm not happy about this whole Mason Mount scenario as well, but that's not to do with Potter. That's freaking Paul Winstanley, who's the other one of the other several hundred Brighton men we brought in. I want Mason Mount to sign a new deal. I know he's polarising, which just baffles me personally. But what if a new gaffer comes in and says, look, sign this kid up. Him and Reece James are the face of the club long term. I want, you know, Enzo as well to represent that. I want whatever, you know. And Chilwell yesterday was really, really good. And I just want these players. It's there. Man City want Ben Chilwell. Do you know what I mean? And like... you know, Man City, United, Liverpool, Juventus want Mason Mount, and you know, we're just an unsettled, like, vulnerable animal, you know, in the desert with jewels inside, ready to be pillaged by vultures. Weird? Well, Chelsea is weird, mate. That's just where we're at in life. So what do? Potter, if he gets sacked, he has to just understand it, right? Because Chelsea fans have been patient. And despite all the Todd Boehly backing in the background and how happy he looked when we eliminated Dortmund, you know, having the beer on the pitch, like, hey, the project's working. The project's working there. But come on, bro, like... I understand how buying loads of new players doesn't always help you, right? It doesn't. Sometimes it can make things harder, and especially when you've got a bloated squad and all those egos and stuff. So it's very easy to say, oh, he's got a, you know, X amount of hundreds of million squad and whatever, and he's in the bottom half of the table. I mean, it's true, but like, it is tricky. I understand all the mitigating circumstances. I'm not going to go through them. We've spoken about them in defense of Potter before, but it just doesn't matter. You can be a nice guy. You can be an intelligent guy. You can be a good coach. You can mean well. But if something almost like spiritually just isn't working and the goals just don't go in the... I mean, we had this same freaking problem under Tuchel, man. People forget as well. It's the short memories that do my... I'm so glad I'm not on Twitter right now, bro. I ditched that thing a few weeks ago. I can imagine it's probably the worst place on earth at the moment. But like, look, we had these same problems under Tuchel. We did attack pretty well under Lampard, but we're leaking goals. Certainly Sarri, we had a lot of the ball, knocking it about and just didn't score goals. This has long been a problem for Chelsea. But, you know, even if it's not related to Graham Potter, it needs to change. Does it look like it's about to change to Graham Potter? And also, I'm going to say this, because I didn't give a crap about this kind of stuff until yesterday. I don't mind how he doesn't have this weird Chelsea, you know. Oh, he's got the mentality of a Brighton manager, not a Chelsea manager. I didn't subscribe to that. I think it's like a little bit sensational and silly, and it is all about a holistic project in developing good. Like, you don't, you know, hear like Guardiola doing something like that. It's more like systemic and just talking about the project, but the project and the game itself. But yesterday, he said something, and not the boys gave everything, I don't care about that. He said something that I was just, nah, bollocks, that I was done with. When he says, he has sympathy for the fans or whatever, the result, because it's never good to lose a game at home. Now, he said that a few times, and it was chipping away at me, right? And that's right, of course. But we're Chelsea. It's never good to lose a game. And that's what got me. I was worried, like, no. You can win all your games at home, but if you lose all your games away, you've still only, like, got a 50% win rate, you know, or whatever. Losing a game is bad for Chelsea, or drawing away or whatever. Losing a game, period, is not good for Chelsea. Now, this is patience personified, because we've lost loads of frigging games, bro. And I've been like, you know what, I understand the landscape, I understand this is fine, we can lose games. It's gonna get hard before it's gonna get worse before it gets better. I just, that moment, I was like, no, not games at home. Games, brother. Games, Mia. Games. Meow, 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 meow. Yannick's lost his mind. Meow, meow, meow. I'll manage Chelsea. It's pretty duper friendship, mate. Graham Potter out. And I can't fight this feeling anymore. I've forgotten what I started fighting for. It's time that Graham Potter goes out to the door. Hey, this is such a good tune. I might get done for copyright. Look, I don't know. He probably stays for the rest of the season. Is Julian Nagelsmann the answer? I don't care anymore. Give me fresh blood. Bring me... Oh, I nearly said Sam Allardyce. I'm not quite lost my crap that much. Anyway, there it is. Here I am. Let me in. Thanks for joining me. In the living room today, not in the office or the studio or whatever. Let me know if you like this more intimate personal style video, and I will see you very soon, my friends. Much love. Peace.